Hey kings and queens, welcome to the Love and HonesTEA podcast. I'm your host, Millie. Welcome to our very first episode. I'm so excited for this journey. I'm ready for this ride. We're going to do this. So before we get started with today's episode, grab your cup of tea. I have an Arizona raspberry iced tea. This is such a throwback for me. These used to be so big, I feel like, when I was younger. I feel like it took me forever to drink these. I've also had peace tea. I'm not sure which one. I've never done a comparison. Let me know if you guys have a preference of peace tea or Arizona, or if you had neither in your area. It's so warm in my area. I should have stuck this tea in the freezer and made it into a slushie. It would have been better. Do any of you guys stick your drinks in the freezer to make it into a slushie? That's literally my favorite, to use either the Arizona iced tea or Brisk. Brisk teas are good to freeze into slushies. So today's episode, I wanted to do an introduction, kind of get to know me. I know you guys are probably thinking, who is this person coming out with this podcast? So I just wanted to introduce you guys, kind of get a vibe for who I am as a person. So I'm just going to go through a couple of questions that I found kind of interesting. So let's see. Let's start off with, what did you have for breakfast today? I didn't. I don't eat breakfast, if that makes sense. I fast in the mornings, so I haven't had anything yet. Where are you from? Tell your original story. So for me, I was born in Riverside County, California, and after that, I moved around pretty much for the rest of my life. I feel like I could do a whole other episode on where I've moved around to and where I've traveled to, so I'm going to kind of save that for a different day. But yeah, I was born in California and the rest is pretty much history. What is your favorite country to visit? So far, my favorite country that I've been to probably is Cyprus. Cyprus is in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, kind of a mini Greece. It definitely had all the Mamma Mia vibes that you could think of. They played ABBA everywhere I was going. The food was really good, and it was, just a really interesting place. Also, they drive on the left side of the road over there. I never would have thought. What are your favorite hobbies and pastimes? So for me, I feel like my favorite hobbies are anything that's creative. So whatever it is that I'm feeling at the time. So it's either reading a book or journaling, a paint by number. Those are one of my top favorites, definitely. I have this other book that's like a sticker by number. I just wish the stickers were more adhesive and it'd be such a better product. But yeah, maybe I could glue it though, because the pictures come out really cool 3D, but just the stickers don't stay on the page, unfortunately. So yeah, anything really creative, painting, anything artsy is what I kind of like to do. What motivates you to get up in the morning? Are you driven by relationships or money or success, etc.? So for me, what motivates me to get up in the morning is just being a productive person. It makes me feel better on the inside, knowing that I'm on my own timeline. So I can do things at my own pace. I can get up early. I can exercise. I can work for myself before I work for anybody else, if that makes sense. What have you learned about yourself recently? So in the next 5 months, I will be turning 30, the big 30. If I were to talk to my younger self at 22, I would have thought I would have had a house, I would have had a baby by now, like so many different milestones. But I'm definitely learning and understanding that everybody has their own timeline. Honestly, I've gone through such a big epiphany in these past 3 months. Like, let me know if you guys have been feeling the vibes too. But I don't know, everything just kind of hit me at one time. And I've recently learned that I needed to change. I needed something that was different for me. And two of those big things for me were cutting out sugary drinks and exercising. Are you a night owl or an early bird? I am definitely an early bird for sure. I used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and go be at the gym by actually 4:30 in the morning. But I want to get back into that habit. Currently, I kind of wake up around 5:30 in the morning. I mean, yeah, it's still not too far off. It's still pretty early, I would say. But I guess I could be doing so much more within that other hours. So I might think about it. I might try adjusting my time. What time do you guys wake up normally? Or are you guys night owls, early birds? Would you rather spend 1 year at the North Pole or 2 years in the Sahara Desert? I'm sorry, I just had to chuckle a little bit. But for me, hands down, the North Pole. I would rather be cold or like trying to get warm than be in the hot desert. Like, no thank you. Definitely is not for me. Doesn't mean I wouldn't survive in the desert. It's just not my preference. I would rather be cooler. When have you grown the most in your life, and what caused that growth? This is a good one. Like, I feel like this is, I guess, asking more like mentally, emotionally. So for me, I feel like the most I've grown in my life has probably been the past 6 years, 7-ish years is definitely when I have done the most growing. I feel like those were just times or years where I gotten to experience life as a whole and not just be shy or not be like hindered to a certain extent. And what caused that growth? Life in general, just my experiences. So if I could just backtrack a little bit, I just moved back to the United States in 2014. So before that, I was traveling all over the world. It's crazy almost to think that I've almost been here for 10 years. That's the longest I've ever been anywhere in my life. Just, wow, very eye-opening. Anyways, so yeah, the past 6 years that I've spent over here, I feel like, again, I've experienced life as a whole. I went to community college here. I had not my first job, but once I started working over here and starting to like get to know people around this area and meeting people around my age, I just got to experience a lot of things that I didn't get to while I was moving around. Not that I was ready probably back then. Back then I was just super shy, just closed off to myself, which brings me to the next question. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Definitely hands down an introvert. Like, I've always just been to myself. Growing up, my peers would label me as antisocial, which I don't think is a good description now that I'm older. Back then, I was like, yeah, I'm antisocial. I don't want to talk to anybody. Then I realized that I'm just a true introvert. Like, I would rather be at peace and have that calm within myself. I don't have a need for other social events. Moving around so much has done a lot for me, like both in good ways and in some kind of harmful ways. I feel like for me, like the consistency for me was not there. So it was so hard for me to keep relationships with friends. Back then, social media, it was a thing, but also it wasn't at the same time, not as it is now, of course. This is probably going to date me a little bit, but I just want to know, how many of you guys remember all the social media sites that they used to have? MySpace, that was my jam. I loved MySpace so much. I remember there was also, I think it was Zanga, or something of that sort. What else? Then Facebook became poppin', but definitely MySpace was hands down. Oh, there was another one. I can't remember. It was with like, maybe not Flickr, something with pictures, I feel like. But yeah, those social media sites, I almost wish they would bring back. I should have went into coding, because MySpace, I used to edit all the HTML codes, trying to make it super cute, try to hide this, try to hide that. Oh my goodness, brings back so many memories. Just choosing my music, my playlist for that, I took it to the T. Like, I used to be so creative with that. Definitely love that. How many of you guys remember MySpace, or how many of you guys used to go on it? Did you guys ever like to edit? I'm so curious to know. What's on your recently played Spotify list? Usually one of 3 things: a podcast, island reggae music, or bachata I have on. I love any of those. It really just depends on my vibe that I'm having for that day. So if it's like super sunny, I'm usually playing island reggae, or even I'm playing bachata if it's a sunny day, especially if it's Sunday and we're going to soccer. That's usually our vibe. And that wraps up our very first episode, you guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. I know it's just an introduction, but I promise I'll come back with more topics. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know if there's something that you would like to hear my advice on, or if you would like to hear my opinion, how I would handle things. I feel like I've just been through so much as a daughter, a sister, a stepmom, a wife. Like, I just have so much advice that I can give others, and so much learning and growing that I've done on my own that I feel like can help you or anybody that's listening. I hope you have a fantabulous morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this, but I just hope you have a great day and you have positive vibes sent your way. Much love to you.